If you grew up in the 80s, or even during that early 2000s reboot, you already get it. He-Man isn't just a guy with muscles and a magic sword. He's got the power, the giant green cat, and a haircut no one else could ever pull off unless they were literally royalty from Eternia. But video games? That's where things get messy. The power of Grayskull, let's be honest, usually fizzles out fast once you pick up a controller. So today, let's talk about a strange one. Masters of the Universe, He-Man, Defender of Grayskull on the PlayStation 2. Yeah, that mouthful. This game almost didn't make it out the door. It only released in Europe, and Skeletor's voice acting sounds like the guy behind the mic is just living his best life. The gameplay feels clunky and repetitive, but is there something here for die-hard fans or casual gamers? Today, we're digging in to see if He-Man on PS2 actually brought the power or just left us wishing for more. Let's set the stage. The game dropped in 2005, at the end of the PS2 era, and if you remember, the Xbox 360 had just come out. But here's the thing, the game looks like it stumbled out of 2002, and honestly, that's because it basically did. Savage Entertainment handled development, and at first, they planned to put it out on just about every console you can think of. Then, publishers got shuffled around, North American releases got scrapped, and in the end, only folks in Europe ever saw a physical copy. If you live in the US, there's a good chance you missed this one unless you were way into emulation or had a knack for hunting weird stuff on eBay. The story? It's actually a smart twist on that classic Metroid-style setup. Skeletor shows up to wreck Grayskull while He-Man's away, so the sorceress pulls back all the magic to defend the castle. That leaves He-Man stuck as plain old Prince Adam, and you have to fight your way back to full power. It's a pretty clever way to handle the power ramp, even if lowly Prince Adam still looks like he could bench press a car. So, what's it like to actually play? It's your classic third-person action-adventure, but here's the thing. The combat goes way deeper than you'd expect from a licensed budget game. You start with the power sword, of course, but before long, you're swinging an axe and blocking with a shield, too. There are around 35 or 40 moves to mess with. You can chain combos, pull off special attacks that burn through your grayscale meter, and every now and then, the game throws you into this over-the-top Matrix slow-mo cam when you land a big finisher. Honestly, it's so 2005. Back then, everything needed slow motion. Someone must have written it into a law. And sometimes the camera cuts to slow-mo even when you haven't hit anything, so He-Man just ends up posing dramatically in an empty hallway. Now, the collision detection, yeah, it's a bit of a mess. You'll swing your sword and it'll cut right through a wall, or you'll get wedged in a doorway because He-Man's arms are just too massive. It's that special kind of PS2 jank. Sometimes charming, sometimes just a pain, but always there. But we have to talk about the best part. Battle Cat. You spend a good chunk of the game riding around on your massive green armored tiger, and it's not just a boring hop-on and travel deal. You get to dash, swipe at enemies, and because this is Eternia, where magic and laser guns exist, Battle Cat comes strapped with missile launchers. Tearing through Skeletor's goons on Battle Cat, that's the moment the game actually delivers on the whole power fantasy. It's wild, it's noisy, and honestly, it's a breath of fresh air after all the hunt for the right colored key stuff you slog through on foot. There's a lot of retracing your steps and trying to remember where that key goes in the regular levels, but when you're on Battle Cat, you just get to let loose. What really stands out here is how the game looks and sounds. They leaned into the 2002 Mike Young Productions cartoon, which honestly, a lot of fans like better than the original. It's more serious, feels more grown up. You get the real voice actors too. Cam Clarke is back as He-Man, Skeletor actually sounds like Skeletor, none of that knockoff stuff. The music? Yeah, it's stuck in mono, which is weird, but it still feels right, like you're actually watching the show. For a budget title, they went all in to make it feel legit. Visually, it pops. The environments are bright, and the character models look like the toys you had as a kid just walking around on screen. But here's the catch. The levels feel kind of empty. You end up fighting the same handful of enemies, just in slightly different outfits. It gets old fast. So, it's 2026. Is He-Man, Defender of Grayskull, actually worth playing? If you're not into He-Man, honestly, skip it. The game's repetitive, it's got some glitches, and it just feels a bit older than it really is. But if you grew up with the 2002 show, or you've got a soft spot for the franchise, there's a surprising amount of care here. The moves, the vibe, all of it feels like a love letter to fans. It's a solid 6 out of 10, but in the best way. Think of it as a Saturday morning cartoon you can jump into. It won't blow your mind, but sometimes you just want to ride a battle cat and fire off some missiles for a few hours. That's more than enough. So what about you? Ever get your hands on this weird PAL-only release? Are there other PS2 era licensed games you think people should revisit? Drop your thoughts in the comments. We always love hearing from you. If you enjoyed this, hit like. It helps more than you think. And don't forget to subscribe if you want more stuff like this. We've got new videos going up every day. Thanks for hanging out. I'll catch you next time.
Huh.